Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The Dharma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in a million kalpas. Now we are able to hear, study, and follow it. May we fully realize the Tathagata's true meaning. Finally, we are at the last line of the Heart Sutra. And the Prajna Paramita mantra is spoken thus. Gate gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. So we have said that we can think of the term Prajna Paramita as the mantra itself. One of the meaning of mantra is a condensation of all the teaching in the text. So certainly the term can help us recall all the teaching associated in the text of the Heart Sutra. But now, at the very end, it presented a new thing, a new mantra. Gate gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Now, a lot of times, the mantra itself may not have a meaning. The terms, the words may not have meaning. A lot of times they do. So if you understand the Sanskrit, the original language, it could be meaningful to you. But then we also stress that when we chant a mantra, the meaning itself is not so important. So it offers a different way of practice, a different way of meditation, where you don't worry about the meaning and you just focus on the sound. Now, simply focusing on the sound could have powers or benefits. For example, you can use it to stop the overactive conscious mind and just focus on the knowing part of the mind. So when you recite a mantra, whether it's Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, or the Gate gate, paragate, parasamgate, gate gate, paragate, parasamgate. Then you don't have to use the conscious, the judging mind, the analytical part of the mind. And you just focus on the knowing part. It's always in the present. The mind is clear, not grasping on anything, and let the sound guide you. So in that way, chanting of a mantra becomes a meditation, training the knowing part of the mind, training our ability to stay in the present, to focus, and to not hold on to anything. Okay? But in this case, this mantra does have a meaning, and it is gone beyond, gone completely beyond to the other shore of enlightenment. And svaha is the end, signals the end, like a period of a sentence. It's the end of the mantra. So done. Okay, so gate is gone. Gate gate, paragate, go further beyond. Go beyond. Gone completely beyond. Parasamgate. Bodhi is enlightenment. Bodhi, svaha. So what do you think it means? Gone beyond. Gone completely beyond. Now, of course, you can take it in many different ways. and the Heart Sutra itself does not explain, which opens up a lot of possibilities. We can think of it as going beyond letting go of our past. Yeah, whatever happened, let it go. Completely let it go. Yeah, without no trace of holding onto it. It could mean go beyond illusions. Yeah, let's go through, penetrate all the illusions in our life. Or it could mean go beyond suffering. Let's transcend our suffering, right? It could mean go beyond the ego self. Let's go past the ego self and reach that non-self emptiness. So it could be any of these. So gone beyond, we can look at it as that's the prajna part. That's the prajna part. It's the liberation part. And gone completely beyond is like it can remove all suffering, not just for myself, but for others. So that's the paramita based on prajna. Because I understand the emptiness of the self, I can reach liberation. And I use that to teach all beings. That is, don't stop. Don't stop at my own liberation. Right? I have gone beyond the ego self. I have gone beyond suffering. But don't stop there. Go completely beyond. Go all the way. And all the way is Buddhahood. So we can certainly interpret it that way. So the word paramita originally has the meaning of going to the other shore. Now it's usually taken to mean the other shore of on this shore, this is life and death and samsara and filled with dukkha, dissatisfaction. The other shore is the shore of nirvana, the shore of liberation, the shore of ultimate peace, the shore of ultimate bliss. Yeah. So let's go beyond to the other shore of enlightenment, bodhisvaha. We may ask, but what lies at the other shore? What is the scenery like? What is that experience? Well, we can't really talk about it until we get there. Well, even if we get there, we can't really talk about it because it's beyond words and concepts, right? However, we can hope to get some inspiration from the past great Buddhist masters. Let's see if we can do that. So I picked up some examples. Sixth Patriarch Huineng, Master Huineng, is considered the greatest Chinese Chan master ever. When Master Huineng was at the end of his journey in this life, his disciples surrounded him and said, some of them are crying, Master, don't leave us. The Master Huineng, told his disciples, you are sad because you don't know where I'm going. But I do. When we are facing death, all of us will do. Most of us don't know what is beyond. What is beyond death? But Master Huineng knew, as many other deeply enlightened masters seem to know. There's a lot of teaching, a lot of stories about Master Huineng. but that's another course. Another very interesting master, these are all Chinese Chan masters that I picked out. In the Tang Dynasty, which is in the 6th, 7th to 9th century, there's a master, Deng Yingfeng. Master Deng, he is a very interesting master. He's several stories. They're all very humorous. This guy is a kind of you may call a rebellious spirit, or you could say he's very naughty. He's a naughty kind of a guy. And the stories of how he attained enlightenment by studying from two of the greatest Chan masters in China at the time. Back and forth is really funny. But that's for another time. Also, at one day, he reached the end of his journey in this life. So he was having a conversation with his disciples. He said, the great masters of the past, they have passed away while sitting in the lotus position, right? Disciple says, yes, master. Yeah, we know quite a few of them was able to pass away in the lotus position. So that's not too unusual. And Master Deng asked, is there anybody who passed away standing up? The disciples replied, oh, that is rare. But yes, we do have records of a masters of the past who was able to leave this world standing up. Master Deng said, okay. So that's been done before. Has anybody been able to pass away, die, while doing a headstand, upside down? The disciple says, no, we never heard of such thing. Master Deng said, okay, I'll do that. So he was doing a headstand, upside down. And he passed away like that. That's the kind of freedom that they have, even with the biggest challenge of our life, which is facing death. And the story doesn't end there. So he took his last breath doing a headstand. And the disciples didn't know what to do. They tried to, bring the master down, but they couldn't move him. Now, it turns out that Master Deng Yingfeng's sister is also a monastic. She is a Buddhist nun. And sometimes they travel together. So when the Buddhist nun, his sister, heard about her brother passing away and doing a headstand, she came to see him. And she yelled at the master, you're always a troublemaker. Even at your death, you're still creating trouble for people. And then she pushed him, and he fell down. So they were able to give him a proper funeral. So that's definitely unique in Chinese Buddhist history. So we see that the different Chan masters, they have their own personality. Some are really serious, some are really harsh, some are really playful. Another story is Master Zibo. Now he is in the 16th century. This is the Ming Dynasty, toward the end of Ming Dynasty, where the government is pretty weak and pretty corrupt, and people are suffering and there's all kinds of trouble. Now, because he's a famous Buddhist master, some people were jealous of him and then framed him. And so the master Zibo, he was put into jail, and not just any jail, it's an imperial jail. He was on the death row to be executed. Of course, he's innocent, but then he was on the death row. Now, while in jail, he was able to continue write letters to his disciples. And we have records of these letters. And if you read these letters, they're all about Dharma teaching. He was still guiding his disciples while on death row. And there's nothing about, try to help me, I'm innocent, whatever. No, nothing about that. Just pure Dharma teaching. Now, the time finally came. Master Zibo was to be executed the next day. That evening, he sat in the lotus position and he was gone. Completely at peace. Master Empty Cloud, now we're up to 20th century. Master Empty Cloud, probably the most famous and considered the greatest Chinese Chan master of the past century. Now, he lived a very long life. He witnessed in his life the fall of imperial China, the establishment of the new Republic of China. He lived through 2 wars. Of course, the First World War didn't take place in Asia, but the Second War did. He lived through them, and then when he was over 100 years old, he was put in jail in China. Again, he was framed because the local government wanted Master Empty Cloud to give up his donations, which he raised to build a temple, to build a monastery. And he would not tell them where the money is, because it is for building a monastery. It's not for the corrupt government to take. So he was put in jail. And then he was beaten until he was bleeding and had broken ribs. He was over 100 years old. So the jail guards left him to die with no food, no water. He's going to die. For more than a week, couple of weeks, he was not attended. But he didn't die. As soon as they stopped beating him, he went back to sit in the lotus and was doing meditation, and miraculously he healed himself. There's no medicine, no food and water. He healed himself. Now finally, when the jail guard came back to take his corpse out, they saw that he was well. They were completely shocked. And they dared not to do anything with him, and eventually they let him out. Master Empty Cloud ended up living to 120 years old. Now, imagine the kind of life that he faced. He lived through the most turbulent time in modern Chinese history. But then, he was able to achieve enlightenment. He was able to do so much to preserve the Chan lineage in China. And finally, the last example is my Shifu, Master Weijie. Now, I see that he is the person that revitalized the Chan school in Chinese Buddhism. And in his lifetime, he also faced a great challenge because he lived through the transition from pre-modern society into modern society. So in the early part of his life, the teaching of the Dharma was still the same way that has been done for 1,000 years. But then technology changed so much, so he had to consider setting up new systems, organize a monastery in a new way, and then modifying the traditional ways of doing Chan meditation retreats to fit modern people, modern mindset. And he built the Zhongtai Chan Monastery, which architecturally, I think is a landmark in the history of Chinese religious architecture. So he was facing the challenge of bringing old tradition into the modern age, among all the other things he's done. But I don't want to go into too many stories, too many details. But his work is not done. Our modern life is changing so much, even in the last 10, 20 years. The challenge continues. So that's left to us to continue the Master's vision and all the past great Masters' vision to preserve the Dharma, to preserve the essence of the Dharma, no matter how society, how time changes, so that we can bring the teaching to a new generation of people in languages, in communication, in ways that they can perceive and benefit. So, my final take on this Gate Gate Par Gate Par Samgate Bodhisvaha is this: look beyond. Look into the future. Paragate Parasamgate, look into all future times. Bodhi awaits us. In the near future, in all future times, enlightenment awaits us. Why? Because it's not something outside. It is already within us. You can call it Buddha nature. You can call it Tathagata Garbha. You can call it suchness. You can call it our original mind. It's the pure gold in the gold mine. But it's already there. And that's why we can all become Buddhas. But it takes work. It takes teacher. It takes students. So, Bodhisvaha. Our work is never done. But ultimate enlightenment awaits us. If you never do anything, you will always be in the future. If you begin to take this path, then prajna wisdom will be at hand. So, generation after generation, to me, this is the most meaningful thing to do. And we'll never finish, because there are countless sentient beings. To me, that is the ultimate goal in life. How about you? Is this an ultimate goal for you? Well, you have to decide for yourself. Let us review what we have talked about. Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha. gone, gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond enlightenment at the other shore. A condensation of all the wisdom, all the teaching in the Heart Sutra. Now, if you practice, if you contemplate, eventually all of that teaching, all of that wisdom will be present in your mind at this very moment, in the present moment. All of that wisdom completely right here, right now. Finally, let us make a dedication to conclude the whole course. May the merits of studying the Heart Sutra together be dedicated to all the participants, all those who aspire to reach the unsurpassed complete enlightenment. We now know that we follow the path of Prajnaparamita, and we know that we can do it. May the merits be dedicated to the health, well-being, and spiritual progress of all the participants. May the merits be dedicated to world peace. May all sentient beings learn how to remove the greed, anger, and ignorance within their minds. And may all sentient beings encounter the Dharma through all the present and future bodhisattvas. May all attain enlightenment.